Castro, and you are tuned in to Leaders with a Mission. And today I have someone very special that if you are in the world of leadership, if you want to understand about leadership, you have to meet her. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Karim Raymond is a bilingual speaker, author, leader of a women's business organization, and a trainer of leaders. Her influence extends worldwide as she speaks both English and Spanish, inspiring Hispanic leaders to make a positive impact on their communities. By doing so, she aims to elevate the levels of success in their lives and businesses. It is with great admiration that I acknowledge Karim's visionary nature, along with her wisdom and compassionate heart. It is an honor to stand alongside her.
Thank you very much.
Karim, how nice
How
to
nice
have you.
to have you. Yes, how exciting to be here also with a person who has such a great vision of connecting leaders.
How nice, my love. And part of the fact that the universe, the stars aligned because you live in Colombia and you traveled here to a very special event that we could both enjoy. And I don't know, the universe, God, the stars, the quantum physics, the 0-point field. Well, tell me a little bit about your background and the purpose behind what you do and what moves you.
Well, I would start by saying that it all began when I came to live here to the United States. I had an athletic scholarship. I used to play volleyball. And one of the things that I started to discover, let's say, in my own process was like, let's say, here there are many processes and many programs of discovery of self-knowledge. So there began, let's say, my own process. And after a while, I was living here in the United States for 10 years. One of the things that came to me is, wow, I mean, I am doing all that, but what about my country? What about, I mean, having been exposed mostly to at that time in Miami, I was living and I was connected with the Chamber of Commerce in Miami Beach, the Women's Business Council. For me, it was a whole new world because let's say by tradition in my family, they've all been educators, they've all worked in the corporate world. I wasn't surrounded by women entrepreneurs. So being in the Chamber of Commerce, I was exposed to a world that I didn't know existed. So after many years of living here, I said to myself, something inside me said, I want this to be available first in Spanish because everything I was doing was in English, and from where I came from, that maybe if I had not had the opportunity to live in the United States, I would never have been exposed to this new world. Yes, of growth, of personal development, of leadership, of being an entrepreneur. So that was one of the reasons why I returned to Colombia in the year 2015. And since then, one of the things that I have dedicated myself to, and that has been my greatest passion, is that it is to give the opportunity, especially to women entrepreneurs. I also do it with men to develop their leadership, their self-knowledge, and really also to project that mission that we all have to leave a better world. So that has been, in summary, my whole process.
How rich? And tell me, what has been an important tool to establish that leadership? For you, what has been an indispensable tool for your growth and power? Provide leadership to others because you had to feed yourself.
Yes. First, and I think it's a tool that we all have, is to be willing to be uncomfortable. Yes, because sometimes we have the life we want and we don't worry if there might be something better. So that's a tool that we all have. It's like challenging. Well, if there's something bigger for me to do, there's something else that's required of me. That's the first thing. After that, Tony Robbins says it very seriously with his term proximity. It's who you surround yourself with. And I think there's no way to be a leader and create great things if you don't surround yourself with people who have dreams 10 times bigger. So ever since that moment that I can remember, I have always been surrounded by people who inspire me, who on the contrary make me say how not what I am thinking is too small. How can I make it bigger? And after that, to be in constant processes of growth, personal development, self-evaluation. Because really thinking that we have all the answers here in our own heads leaves us limited in what we can do. So I would say that this is also a very powerful tool. So investing in personal growth, investing in surrounding yourself with people who challenge you and who make you think big.
That's rich. And for you, what is your definition of leadership, your personal definition?
Okay, so for me, the definition that I have of leadership, in fact, this is one of the terms that I use in what I do, which is high impact personal branding. I believe that we all come to this planet to do something, to be pioneers, to do something, to pioneer something, to create something that doesn't exist. And that to me is a leader, is a person who is willing to work on themselves and create a community, to build a tribe that doesn't exist right now and aligned with a vision. Each one of us has different goals, has different passions. Different goals has different passions. So according to that, well, each one of us has that thing that we are going to pioneer, and that is a leader.
I love that. What?
The
Cool. And you have so much to give. You train in a lot of things. You just arrived from Mexico. Tell me a little bit about what you just did, because it's like you have tools and then you say there are more tools and you go and get tools. You kind of love swimming in the mystery of the unknown and bringing new tools for your people to feed with a higher level, right?
higher, right? Exactly. Mentioning that, one of my mentors, or my longest term mentor with her, I discovered something, and that is that it's important to know our strengths. If we are always, at least from my side and from what I have observed, we are always more concerned about improving our weaknesses and fixing ourselves in one way or another. And fixing ourselves in one way or another. And when I started to, let's say, with my mentor, she brought a new perspective, and that is to start to know the strengths, my personal strengths. And one of those at that time, I discovered being a learner. If I love to learn, to know new things, then I am always looking for different things that I can learn. Like that I can learn. Like that I can learn new things. Different things I can learn, like I never know what I already know. Everything exists. So within that, now in Mexico, I was doing a certification in neuro-linguistic programming. Yes, it is a process, let's say very fascinating, because what I have also discovered is that the most successful people I admire in some way or another have done neuro-linguistic programming in their process. So I was doing a certification. Well, it lasted almost 8 months, but that last part is an intensive course to really begin to understand how we can potentiate our neural connections. Yeah, so super fascinating. I was there. I was there. Yes, connecting everything, how we perceive the world from all our senses, and how we can change habits, change limiting beliefs. Change our experience of life, relate better to others. So it was fascinating to me, because even though I had heard that term, I had read a book or two, there is nothing more powerful than a process of immersion, where after being in a place for so many hours, receiving all that information, it kind of achieves something in the subconscious mind that is already there. So it's not like learning, memorizing, and well, I've always been a fan of all the immersion processes.
That's
And
nice.
I'm going to talk.
And you talked about books. What books would you say have been key that you would blindly
Really?
recommend,
Or you have to read this
read
one?
this book that blew my mind? For you, what has
Guy.
been one of those books? Just one.
Well,
Share it. Here
as
it
the
is.
number 401
I don't
that
know,
I
no.
love,
Put it
that in
aside.
fact I bought it only because of the CAE, because of the title, because I felt that up to that moment that had been my quest. It's by Walter Rizzo. It's wonderfully imperfect, outrageously happy. And for me, let's say the way I had seen my life is that I always wanted to be perfect. I was looking for perfection, and it was a whip I was getting. And reading that book, I really understood that it's about being happy with my imperfections and loving them, being outrageously happy, and the opposite of that, like, make the most of them and have fun. So that book is a wonderful one. There's another one I love by Seth Godin called Tribes, because his subtitle says we want to be leaders, and I believe in that. If we are all leaders, and through creating a tribe at this time in history, that tribe is no longer geographically located in the city where we are, it is spread around the world. So social networks are that channel to be able to create that tribe. That is one of my favorite books. And the third one, well, there are many more, but the third one that comes to mind is one by Austin Kleon called Show Your Work. Show your work, and by nature, the work that I do, which is personal branding for high impact leaders who want to leave a better world, it's important to show our process. If it's not like, I don't know, 100 years ago of someone waiting for someone to come and discover their masterpiece, but to share our process. So one of the phrases he says there is that the most important thing is not to be good, but the most important thing is to be findable. Yes, and when you are findable,
Yes, I love
hey,
that.
it's
And obviously, to me, that's so obviously. Because part of my mission, and that's why I love to bring in people like you, because we share the same mission, the same heart of it's important that people taking autonomy and leadership of their visibility and their digital footprint and how they want to be perceived. And I love it because for me, communication is through video, but for you, it's much more integral, it's more intimate. I feel that for me, for a person to experience what you bring to the world, to bring out your strengths, and once people have that personal encounter, to be able to package it in a way that is visible to everyone who sees it. See it. Karim, thank you for being here. Tell me where you can be found. One more thing. Come on, come on, come on.
Which is also the title of my book, which I think is one of the messages I want to leave in this world. It is a book.
Do you have it?
Tell me about it. Tell me
everything.
Okay, so this is a very American term, which in fact I didn't know it until I saw it in the United States, and in English it's called bragging rights. If the Spanish, adueñarse de los trumps, is not really used and it's using your bragging rights. And that's the title of my book. Why? Because as Latinos especially, we've been raised to be modest and not to talk about things because what are they going to think of us? And what happens when we don't talk about our triumphs? Well, they are not going to know that we are the best option. They are not going to know that we are the best. And on the other hand, we ourselves are going to forget. So this book is written first from my story of how it has been for me to use my bragging rights. And it is an invitation to everyone to take ownership of their triumphs. Tell it. Because that's the other part. Not just against the triumph, but tell what obstacles you overcame to get there. And that's when we connect with others. And when you say, as Marianne Williamson says, we give permission to others to give their light as well. So that's the philosophy behind the book.
Karim, you are a little box of surprises. It fascinates me. I love it. Now, yes, where can they find your book? Where can they find you? How can they find you? How can they find you? You have your right?
Exactly. Well, in all the social networks, Karim Raymond on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all over the place. Google too, Karim Raymond.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for enlightening us with your leadership and with the gifts that you have to the world. And for not only being a person who welcomes those gifts, but sharing them and bringing them to more people. And for you, for this person that you're seeing, if you're looking for how to use your influence in a virtual way to reach more people, I'm going to invite you to visit us at influencervirtual.com, and I'll see you next time.